Vanishing Folklore and Beliefs.
The Fairy Mythology by Thomas Caillte. Public domain reading, circa 1892. The Friendly Dwarfs. Close to the little town of Dardisheim, between Halberstadt and Brunswick, is a spring of the finest water called Smansborn, and which flows out of a hill in which in old times the dwarves dwelt. When the former inhabitants of the country were in want of a holiday dress, or at a family festival, of any rare utensils, they went and stood before this dwarf hill. They knocked 3 times and pronounced their petition in a distinct and audible tone, adding, "Before the sun is up tomorrow, at the hill shall be the things we borrow." The dwarves thought themselves sufficiently compensated if there was only some of the festive victuals set down before the hill. The Wedding Feast of the Little People. The little people of the Eilenberg in Saxony had occasion to celebrate a wedding, and with that intent passed one night through the keyhole in the window slits into the castle hall, and jumped down on the smooth level floor like peas on a barn floor. The noise awoke the old count, who was sleeping in the hall in his high 4-post bed, and on opening his eyes he wondered not a little at the sight of such a number of the little fellows. One of them, apparelled as a herald, came up to him, and addressing him with the utmost courtesy and in very polite terms, invited to share in their festivity. "We, however," added he, "have one request to make, which is that you alone should be present, and that none of your people should presume to look on with you, or to cast so much at one glance." The old count answered in a friendly tone, "Since you have disturbed my sleep, I will join your company." A little small woman was now introduced to him. Little torch-bearers took their places, and cricket music struck up. The count found great difficulty to keep from losing the little woman in the dance. She jumped away from him so lightly, and at last whirled him about at such a rate that he could with difficulty recover his breath. But in the very middle of their sprightly dance, suddenly all became still. The music ceased, and the whole company hurried to the slits of the doors, the mouse holes, and everywhere else where there was a corner to slip into. The bride pair, the heralds and dancers, they all looked upwards to a hole that was in the ceiling of the hall, and there discovered the face of the old countess, who, overflowing with curiosity, was looking down on the joyous assembly. They then bowed themselves before the count, and the person who had invited him stepped forward again and thanked him for the hospitality he had shown them. "But," said he, "since our wedding and our festivity has been thus disturbed by another's eyes gazing upon it, your race shall henceforward never count more than 7 Eilenbergs." They then pressed out after one another with great speed, and soon all was silent, and the old count alone in the dark hall. The sad curse had lasted till the present time, and one of the 6 living knights of Eilenburg has always died before the 7th son was born.
Vanishing folklore and beliefs.